Hi guys, so in today's video we'll be studying the meaning of the term professional skepticism. In my last video we saw the meaning of the term professional judgment, we saw the definition, and we saw 5 instances where we need to apply professional judgment. So today we'll be learning one more commonly used term in the entire syllabus of audit, which is professional skepticism. Okay, so these are my notes. You can download these notes in the link in the description. I'll be putting the link in the description so you can download the notes from there. Also, if you haven't watched my video on professional judgment, make sure you go and watch it. Okay, so let's go to professional skepticism. Okay, so let's read the definition first. Professional skepticism is an attitude that includes a questioning mind, being alert to conditions which may indicate possible misstatement due to error or fraud, and a critical assessment of audit evidence obtained. So basically, it has 3 points. An attitude that includes a questioning mind, being alert to conditions which may indicate possible misstatement, and the misstatement could be due to error or fraud, and a critical assessment of audit evidence obtained. Now let's break down these 3 parts. So the first part is an attitude that includes a questioning mind. This basically means that anything that is told to us during our audit, anything that is told to us, let's say we are performing any inquiries, we are told certain responses. We need to question those responses. We just need not take everything on its face value. We have to keep questioning. Only if we question, we will come to know more and more, and we will have more better clarity. Any client is only going to give information that they want to. They will not give us extra information, which will make us question more, or which will make us doubt that there may be some error or fraud. They will just give us bare minimum information, and that is why it is our responsibility to have an attitude that includes a questioning mind, so we can obtain much more information than which the client is giving us. Now, being alert to conditions which may indicate possible misstatement. Now, we need to be alert during our audit. We cannot be lethargic, lazy. We need to be alert. We need to have an alert mind. Whenever someone is saying something again, just be alert of what is happening around. Alert while evaluating audit evidence. We need to be alert in order to catch any possible misstatements that are due to error or fraud, and a critical assessment of audit evidence obtained. Whatever audit evidence is given to us, we need to make a critical assessment, not just a normal assessment. Critical assessment is a thorough assessment. So basically 3 points: an attitude that includes a questioning mind, being alert to conditions which may indicate possible misstatement due to error or fraud, and third is a critical assessment of the audit evidence obtained. Okay, now if you see, there are more 2 parts of this answer. Now, what are these 2 parts? The first part is what are the conditions where we need to be alert because of professional skepticism, and the second part is basically if we don't use professional skepticism, if we are not professionally skeptic, what could be the consequences of that. So first, let us do the first part, that is, it includes being alert to. Let's read this first. Audit evidence that contradicts other audit evidence obtained, information that brings into question reliability of documents and responses to queries raised to be used as audit evidence, conditions that may indicate possible fraud, circumstances needing additional procedures other than those prescribed by the standards of auditing standards. Okay, so first point is we may obtain some audit evidence that may contradict some audit evidence which we have already obtained in the past. So we need to be alert to such situations. Second point is information which brings into question reliability of documents. Let us say we have obtained some document, we have already placed reliance on that. Later we get some information that this document that we looked at maybe was fake, or maybe was a duplicate document, or maybe a forged document. So we need to be alert to any information that brings into question reliability of documents and responses to queries. Maybe we have asked some query, we have received a certain response, and later we have received some information which makes the response questionable. That response does not seem all right. So we need to be questioning. If such information comes into our knowledge, we need to question whatever we have relied upon, or whatever responses to queries that we have relied upon. We need to question that. Third is again conditions that may indicate possible fraud. That could be possible fraud, possible error. We need to be alert to such conditions. And fourth is circumstances needing additional procedures. So the essays prescribe certain procedures, but there may be certain circumstances where there may be fraud or error, and hence we will have to perform more procedures other than those prescribed by the essays. Okay, we need to perform more procedures, even though it may not require, it may result in over auditing, but we may need to perform considering that there could be a error or fraud possible. So basically for these four situations where we need to be alert: audit evidence that contradicts other audit evidence obtained, information that brings into question the reliability of documents and responses to queries raised to be used as audit evidence, third, conditions that may indicate possible fraud, and fourth is circumstances needing additional procedures other than those prescribed by the essays. Now we will be studying what are the consequences if we are not professionally skeptic. So let's read. Maintaining professional skepticism is necessary to reduce the risk of overlooking unusual circumstances. If we are not professionally skeptic, what is going to happen? We are going to be too lenient or too casual about the audit. We are not going to cross question whatever is shown to us, and we will be making very generalized assumptions that, let's say if we are given 5 invoices, we just look at 2 invoices and say the other 3 also will be correct, but maybe one of those could be wrong, or one of those could have some kind of error or fraud possible. So we may overlook unusual circumstances. This is one consequence of not maintaining professional skepticism. Second, overgeneralizing when drawing conclusions from audit observations. Same like the first one, when we are drawing conclusions from audit observations, we will just keep giving very generalized assumptions that, let's say, it all looks okay, we'll have that very lenient attitude. So we will tend to overgeneralize, whereas we need to be thorough. We need to look at all the evidence and then make a proper thorough assessment. We cannot overgeneralize by just looking at a section of the audit evidence and then generalizing for the entire population. So in the absence of professional skepticism, we may tend to overgeneralize. And the third point is using inappropriate assumptions in determining the nature, timing, and extent of audit procedures. So this is also one more point. If we are not professionally skeptic, what will happen is we will determine less than required nature, timing, and extent of audit procedures. The nature may be, we may do less extensive procedures. Timing, we may perform certain procedures at the wrong timing. Let's say an inventory count which needs to be done on 31st March, we may do it on 1st April, or we may do it on 2nd April, just assuming that everything will be right, which is a wrong thing. We should not do that. The extent of procedures, again, we should be doing a thorough, a sampling based audit or a full audit of certain captions. Certain captions could be high fraud risk, so we may need to do more sampling, but we could tend to be satisfied by less samples, which would be again wrong. We are tending to overgeneralize. So again, all of these 3 consequences are kind of interlinked if we look at it. Okay, so let's just read it once more. Maintaining professional skepticism, the consequences if we don't do it are overlooking unusual circumstances, overgeneralizing when drawing conclusions from the audit observations, and third point is using inappropriate assumptions in determining the nature, timing, and extent of audit procedures. Yeah, so that's it for today. Hope to see you in my next video. Thank you.